Well, good evening, everyone. Michael, soothing here. I got somebody in my background doing something or other. There's a green form back there, a ghost. Oh, there she is. Okay, so after that interruption, well, we don't mind. It's been a long time since I've been here. I've been very tired and had some health issues and things, so I apologize for the delays. And we've been super busy too. But being tired is a good time to make ASMR because I'm very relaxed. So hopefully I'll be able to relax you as well. Nothing fancy today at all. I'm just gonna pick up I just snagged a couple of the magazines off my pile that I never read. And I thought I would peruse through a few things in it, and see if anything interesting is in there. Also, I had a request, as I often do, for lollipop videos and gum chewing videos. So I have some gum around here somewhere. I'll do that in the future, in the not distant future. But tonight I'm gonna do some lollipop. I will check out this cafe latte from Sees, and also this butterscotch from Sees. Plus I'm gonna taste, they get freebies at Safeway, all kinds of freebies, because they played the Monopoly game, Joanne and Maria. And they were getting, like $40 off in coupons for a weekly shopping expedition, plus all kinds of free stuff. And this is one of the free. Today we got a 24-pack of these waters right here. And since we drink a lot of them, that's a good freebie to have, right? Did they stop doing masks where you are? Because the CDC just said we don't need to wear masks anymore if we've had the vaccine. And that was after saying a couple days before that we had to wear masks forever. So I'm glad someone finally had a tiny bit of common sense. I did get the vaccine, being I'm an at-risk person. We were traveling somewhere, Portland. We had to take Maria to the airport. And the hotel there, Residence Inn where we stayed, had this paper I've never seen called Vision Times. So I thought I'd check and see what's in it. It's got quite a wide date range. It's the May 7th through 20th edition. I guess they don't publish daily. What was I going to tell you? I always get sidetracked. I'm going to taste this freebie they got. What does it taste like to have Coke and coffee mixed together? See there? Coca-Cola with coffee. Let's check it out. Oh my goodness. Do you know what that tastes like? It tastes a lot like Coke mixed with coffee. That's what it tastes like. It's not bad. I thought I would puke tasting it, but, and this is a dark blend here. Okay. There's only a little bit. What else? Oh, as I was saying, so I had requests. Speaking of coffee, I like coffee in the morning, black, but I don't really like it mixed with other things, like Coke, for example. But this Sees sucker lollipop is called a latte something. So let's check it out and see how it tastes. If they would mix it with chocolate or something like that, it might be good, but I don't think they do. I think it's just kind of sweet coffee, and I don't put sugar in my coffee. Do you? By the way, this hat that was the replacement for my old one, which was too tall, looked a little bit like a witch hat, kind of, they say. That's what Joanne says. Anyway, Scorpio NYT. By the way, she's been making a whole lot of videos lately, so if you're interested in what she's up to, check out Scorpio NYT. But she's not doing ASMR, so we're all a little bit bummed out about that, but they're still interesting videos, and her voice is still relaxing, whether she's doing ASMR or not. Let's check this out. Oh, I was talking about the hat. I have to go do a memorial soon in California. I'm gonna basically lead the memorial because it's for my dad. And I'm gonna wear this hat because it was his hat. And so my stepmom, his wife, gave it to me, and I really like it, especially since it belonged to him. So I am going to wear it when I'm doing, because we're going to do the memorial outside in California in a few days in the afternoon. And I can't let the sun get on my head, so I will be wearing this hat in his honor while we do the memorial. Chelsea will sing, and everybody will basically have a role somehow. So, but a small family thing, you know. All right, let's see. You know, Sees makes the best lollipops anywhere. But I'm just not a fan of mixing sugar with coffee. When I watch people dump 2 or 3 spoons of the stuff into their coffee, it makes me gag before I even ever taste it. So instead, I'm going to go for the butterscotch. I wish I had a chocolate one right now, but I don't. That's my favorite, or I should say my second favorite. They used to have peanut butter lollipops, and those were the best. Well, they were called peanut, not peanut butter. The chocolate would be second, and the butterscotch third. Those of you who think it's infantile for an old guy to do lollipops can tune out now, okay? But this is a requested video, so I want to please some of my subbies some of the time, since you can't please all of the people all of the time. And I'm not going to have all of it, because I have to limit, the sugar. Let's see what's in this funny little paper. Vision Times, I've never heard of it. Delayed Chinese census. Results point to severe population decline. And you thought China was exploding in population. But you see here, they're in decline because their birth rate is too low. And people try to have one boy to carry on the family name. They're not very nice to their girls there. China's taking over the world. But I don't want to be political in ASMR. So let's look for something else. The Chinese Communist Party, This seems to be mostly about China, this paper. And you see it has a little Chinese symbol there in the O. I can't read it. Joanne and I are trying to learn new languages using a little app on the phone called Duolingo. So she's forcing me to do it every night, 2 lessons. But I'm struggling along trying to learn Espanol while she's doing like 4 languages: Spanish, French, and Italian. And I think she was fiddling around with something else too. It's a good little program for learning. And it says on there, I don't know if it's true, but it says more people are learning languages with their app than any other way. More even than in school. All right, let's see what's in here, if anything. Do you love lotus flowers? You can grow them at home. You should see all the stuff we're growing outside. I turned a giant weed and briar patch, well, you saw my video probably with the seeds, into a big wildflower thing. They're not in bloom yet, except some poppies. But Joanne's been planting fruit trees, and today she planted, or no, yesterday, she planted a potato patch. It looks a lot like a gravesite, so I'm a little scared of it. I'll show it to you in a video sometime when we get closer to pulling them out. Business and benevolence in traditional Chinese culture. Ancient Chinese coins were rich with symbolism. Look, they show some right there. Ancient Chinese coins. The circular outside and the square inside represented heaven and earth. The durable material, copper, signified longevity. You know, I talk about investment from time to time. Copper's been skyrocketing in value because we're going to need about 3 times the amount in the future as what they're mining now, because of the infrastructure plans and going EV with everything, with cars. Nickel, lithium, copper, silver are going to be needed in massive quantities. Not a bad place. What are these little things? Sliced lotus root with spicy peanut sauce. I have no idea what a lotus root would taste like. Would it be like a root vegetable? I don't know. Peanut sauce. It looks like it could be okay to eat. You can grow the lotus at home. It has spiritual significance in many Eastern traditional cultures, it says. Woman sitting above a lotus pond. There she is, meditating or something. I don't think China is the relaxing, meditative kind of place it used to be. It looks like a frenzy of activity when you watch videos of the country. I think it would be interesting to visit there, though. Yeah, this whole paper is about China. Everything in it. May 4th, How Science and Democracy Paved the Way for Chinese Communism. See? I'm not going to read the article. It may tempt me to politics, and I refuse to let the devil tempt me to think or talk about politics during ASMR video making. An ancient Chinese doctor's cure-all for nourishing mind and body. Let's see what the cure-all is. One of ancient China's greatest medical doctors and herbalists, Sun Simiao, was said to have lived to be 141 years old. I wonder if that's true. I wouldn't even want to live to be that old. Would you? I don't know. But he lived through 3 dynasties, had no interest in serving the emperors, preferring instead to make his treatments available to the general public. All right, tell me what this thing is that makes you live so long. I'm trying to find it because it's a big article. Emperor, highly impressed, blah blah, divine appearance, Taoist, esteemed. If one's virtue is poor, one can neither attain longevity nor prolong one's life, even with the best medicine. If one's virtue is noble and perfect, well, that counts out how much of humanity? Oh yeah, 100%. Okay, there is no perfect in humanity. But there are some that are more virtuous than others, yes. He can live longer and be blessed with a true meaning of life. I'm not a believer in the Eastern religions, as you know, but I think there are elements of Eastern religion that could have value to health, such as relaxing meditative exercises and such, taking your mind off the mundane material. I personally will want to do that in reference to the God of the universe and to Jesus himself. But you know, it's the same concept. You should reflect on and spend time meditating on God, I think, rather than getting too immersed, as we all tend to do, in other pursuits in life. I spend too much time obsessing about, investments and hobbies and stuff. Ginseng refers to 11 different varieties. Apparently, this was the magic elixir, ginseng. 11 different varieties of a short, slow-growing plant with fleshy roots. I can't take ginseng because it is a blood thinner. But if you don't have to worry about that, maybe it would work for you. Ginseng is believed to restore and enhance well-being. It is one of the most popular herbal remedies. But remember, herbs can be powerful medicine, so don't just start taking something without doing a lot of research first, all right? Just because somebody says, oh, take ginseng, or whatever it is, do your due diligence, and don't take people's word for it. We could say the same for regular medicines too, like the ones they advertise and bombard you with on TV. You have to think about all the side effects and how they will interact with other substances in your own health conditions. Everyone's different. Here's an article I can agree with. Tell me if you agree. The miraculous healing effect of good music. When they talk about the miraculous healing effect of music, they're probably not referring to Led Zeppelin, or even Taylor Swift. I think they're referring to relaxing music, kind of ASMR-ish type music. It says here, during World War II, the U.S. Army field hospitals were filled with wounded soldiers. In hot weather, with hordes of mosquitoes and a shortage of medicine, the rate of infection and mortality was very high, and morale was low. Under these circumstances, a doctor started playing everyone's favorite music. After the sick and injured heard the music, their infection and mortality rates dropped dramatically, and the surgical healing period was shortened significantly. The ancient Chinese have long put stock in the ability of music to heal. Have you ever seen those studies where they play classical music to plants, and then they have a control group that gets rock music, and then another control group that gets no music at all? And the classical music plants grow the best. Right. Or so I've been told. I can't vouch for this personally. 500 scientists are under investigation after spending 50 to 60% of their time in China. Uh-oh. Do you know, some of you are going to get mad at me, do you know that the coronavirus that was accidentally released, we now know from the Wuhan lab in China, was an experiment called gain of function, where they were trying to figure out how to handle superviruses by making those viruses more infectious than normal, which, as we all know, worked effectively with the coronavirus because it is definitely far more infectious than other viruses of its type. The problem is, once it got accidentally released, if it was an accident, into the general populace, now we got to deal with it. But do you know who funded some of that experimentation and approved it? The U.S. government, under the auspices of the NIH and intermediary organizations who provided funding to the Wuhan lab. That would be under Dr. Anthony Fauci, by the way. He was the guy that headed the NIH. Isn't it ironic? But I said, no politics. Tohu wabohu to that. What would be more interesting instead would be to look at the latest Astronomy Magazine, Rogue Planets. I wonder what a rogue planet does. Does it rebel against its own solar system? What interstellar travelers tell us about the galaxy? I saw a UFO on TV the other day that was filmed by a Navy ship off the coast of San Diego. It was this spherical thing that was moving around, and it suddenly went down and disappeared under the water. Kind of hard to explain. Didn't seem to be a hoax, since the guys filming it were all professional label types. Ooh, I like these globes. Globes of planets and moon and such that you can put. It's kind of cool. Moon globe. In case you need a map to know how to get around the moon, where you want to go, that tells you where you're going, see? Yeah. There's lots of features on the moon. But you've only ever seen one side of the moon, haven't you? Do you know there's no such thing as the dark side of the moon? No, that there is a far side of the moon, which you never see, because the moon has become gravitationally tidally locked so that it faces us all the time as it goes around the planet. But it goes through phases on the other side too, so the other side sees full brightness, full moon, and all of that, just like the side on our side. Don't mind the annoying computer noises, because I forget about the email notification tone. So it wakes us up at night. Sunspot Snapshot. Looks like someone's eye, doesn't it? That sunspot. They say sunspot activity has been very low, and that means the sun is putting out less energy for a while. It's been very chilly here in Oregon during May. Coldest May I've ever experienced in my life. Rocket Origami. Up there. It doesn't look like a rocket to me, but that's what it says it is. You know, on Mother's Day, Joanne's daughter, Maria, sorry for that loud bang, made her this origami bouquet of roses, or flowers, I should say, which will last forever. And I believe she spent a great deal of time on them. It's very clever, isn't it? She made that. China's lunar loot returned. I guess China had a mission to the moon where they picked up some stuff and brought it back. Should I do the video someday about the crazy conspiracy theorists who think that we never went to the moon? Maybe I'll do that someday. Now, some of you are going to give me a thumb down because you're going to say, what, she thinks we actually went to the moon? I knew people in the program, by the way, you know. Rocket science was my career. I knew people in the program who did all the, cover up and we went to the moon, folks. Okay. A molten ring galaxy forged. There it is. I love space. I've been fascinated with space my whole life. Ever since I was 2 years old, 3 years old, thought I could climb a step ladder and reach the moon, and I've never lost interest since. You know, flat Earth adherents think that the sun and the moon are just a few miles up there, not far. You know, pretty much could reach up and touch them, you know, if you had a tall ladder. A galaxy in midlife crisis, it says here. I wonder what it's doing. How do they know that? Is it having an affair with a younger galaxy? Or buying itself a new car, maybe a sports car? Let's see what it says. It's actively growing supermassive black hole, and cold gas in the outer edges is still forming stars. So it's a youngish Middle Ages galaxy. Lots of stars in the inner part, but still forming a lot of stars in the outer part. Interesting. You know, there's about, so let me get this right. There's something like 100 billion stars in a galaxy. And there's something like 100 billion galaxies. You know, and they're all quadrillions of miles apart, of course, light years. Try to wrap your head around that, and then think about how that all came to be. The design of the universe is an amazing thing. We'll talk about it sometime. Supermassive black holes. How supermassive black holes kill their galaxies. They shouldn't ought to do that, because their galaxy gave them their existence. Or is it the other way around? Galactic heartworm. Eventually, star formation in galaxies turns off. But astronomers don't understand what causes this quenching. Some say the galaxy's central black hole acts like a parasite. As the supermassive black hole feeds on nearby material, it disrupts the galaxy's gas supply, cutting off available. Hey, isn't that what happened on the East Coast this week? A supermassive black hole Russian hacker disrupted the gas supply. Anyway, it cuts off gas for new stars. New research indicates this quenching depends on the mass of the central black holes and the stars in the galaxy, combined with its radius. Right. I don't think we're going to get to the fishing magazine because we're already more than a half hour into this. And my lollipop has barely begun to diminish, as you can see, because I'm trying to work on it slowly so I don't load my system up with sugar. In fact, I'm going to set it down here in its wrapper, because if I put it anywhere else, it would make a sticky mess, wouldn't it? And we don't want that. 8-year sun trail, imaged with a beer can. I'm not sure I want to even figure out how they did it, but it's an 8-year sun trail anyway. The longest exposure photograph ever taken. The path of the sun over 2,953 days. Okay, I'm interested in the sun and in photography, but not interested enough to stop and see what they did there. Mind-altering Mars. Seeing canals might not be so crazy after all, it says here. See? There's canals on Mars. Many say there used to be water there, and might still be. There were oceans, and they've got them all named, but they're empty now. But there may be water under the surface of Mars. Mars doesn't have enough gravity and mass to have held on to all of its water the way the Earth has. We actually have the perfect set of conditions on Earth to have both ice, snow, water, and water vapor. We have everything exactly in the right parameters to permit life, to within a millionth of a millionth of a millionth in many cases. The galaxy's marvelous rogues and misfits. That was what was on the cover. Let's check out a couple before we close this video, because I don't want to get hoarse. A Jupiter-like planet traverses our galaxy on a lonely journey, having been torn from the gravitational embrace of its host star. Astronomers now think rogue planets might outnumber the stars in the Milky Way. You know what's kind of creepy about this? There's the rogue planet floating out in space, no longer a part of any solar system. And they're saying maybe there's more of these than there are stars. So what's creepy about that is it reminds me of the movie Alien, or Aliens, doesn't it? Some weird, dark, lonely, desolate planet, quadrillions of miles from anything, not even part of a circular orbit around a star, right? Just floating in space forever. Somebody should write a novel or something about one of these. Do you know that Scientologists believe that all Star Trek episodes are actual history because they're revived memories plugged into people's brains? So the Trouble with Tribbles episode was actual history. There were little furry balls all popping out of the closets of the Star Trek Enterprise and multiplying, faster than bunnies. Oh, look at this telescope. Here's a long shot exposure of the sky. What do you think? Okay guys, I asked you this question before, but I'm going to ask you again. Even though this is an unscientific method of polling you, do you want me to do whisper video or soft-spoken? Because some like whisper and some like soft-spoken. Can you tell me in comments, at least a couple of you, if I have any subbies left after my long delay in making a video? I'll try to make a lot more soon. I got really sidetracked with a whole bunch of stuff for weeks, and my energy level, like I said, has been really pathetically low, but I think I have a treatment plan in place to help. I have yet another disease besides lymphoma, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's so boring when older people talk about all their health issues. Roman space, talk about something from Alien. Look at this thing. They're saying it's a Roman space telescope. planned to launch in the mid-2020s. Roman's namesake space-based telescope will focus on near-infrared wavelengths across both hemispheres of the sky. Similar in size to Hubble, its 2.4 meter mirror will have a 3 megapixel camera capable of achieving 0.1 arc-second resolution, whatever that means, across the telescope's massive field of view. It will produce 1.3 terabytes of data each and every day from its roughly elliptical orbit around the second Lagrange point in Earth's orbit. Orbital Dynamics. There's a lot of different types of orbits. I studied that at my company. They did seminars to train us on the things that we didn't know about, including orbital dynamics. We took classes at night if we had not had that in college. Mars rules the night, it says here, during this time of year. Valentine Dome on the moon. You didn't know there was a Valentine Dome there, did you? I didn't know it either. So next time you want to take your girl or guy on a date on Valentine's Day, just go to the Valentine Dome on the moon and I'm sure your date will be very impressed. It's in the Sea of Serenity, it's called, that portion of the moon, because there's not a lot of meteor strike craters there. See how it's kind of empty of all the craters? There's a couple, but not as many as other portions of the moon. Star Dome. How to use this map. It's not easy to figure out, but I'll work on it. Yeah. I think we need, there actually is, I think, Google Sky. Not sure. Pretty sure there is. So you can use Google Earth and Google Sky to figure out what's up above you. But I told you before, you can also use your phone. I have that app. Oh, my phone's over there, so I can't use it and show you right now. Here's the phases of the moon, path of the planets, locating asteroids. Last summer, we were able to spot a comet, remember? I don't know if we'll be able to do it this year. It was not necessarily expected. In fact, it wasn't expected. Solar filters can help you view the sun in its best possible light. Don't try this at home unless you really know what you're doing. If you ever were to look at the sun through a telescope and no filter, you wouldn't have eyeballs left, okay? So be very careful. Don't look at it through binoculars. It will burn your retina right off. And then you won't be able to see anything, and you wouldn't like that. The anatomy of the sun. You didn't know the sun had an anatomy, but it does. It's not just one big fiery ball, you know. There's different things going on there between the core and the radiative zone, convective zone. Do you know virtually all the energy on Earth has come from the sun in some form? Not 100%, because there is such thing as radiation from space, but from interstellar space, but about 99 point something percent of everything that moves and breathes and grows and uranium and for nuclear and fossil fuels and natural gas and you name it. Well, wind, solar, all of it in some way has come from the sun. Isn't that interesting? And yet, if you were to go hang around out in unfiltered sunlight too long, it would kill you. So you have to be careful with a power source like that. Comet light, comet bright. No, I'm not making bad rhymes. See? Okay, I just ran out of energy, so we're gonna close. And this is already 46 minutes long, which I think I'm giving you extra, don't you? It should be about 25 or 30 minutes, so. But because it's been such a long time, I wanted to not rush things. Plus I feel relaxed, and I hope I've been able to relax you with this video. If not, go watch one of the older ones. And yeah, visit Scorpio NYT's channel, and she'll send you to her daughter's channel, Ariaville, and Art and Beauty Freak. And I hope you have a good week and you're enjoying the spring. We don't have to wear masks anymore, so hopefully everything will be open soon the way it was before. I haven't been able to play poker or anything. We went to church last week, visited a new church, and everyone was wearing a mask. But thankfully, this week, they sent out an email to me right away and said, right after the announcement from the CDC, and said, no more mask. So that's nice. Isn't it strange that some people who are fully vaccinated want to keep wearing their mask anyway? I won't get into the reasons why, because this is a relaxation video, a different genre. Take care, everyone. Till next time, don't ASMR and drive. Bye-bye.